We're searching for the last of the Mekongs dolphins. Here in Cambodia, where the river is still wild and untamed, a small group of about 80 Irrawaddy dolphins still exists. Our boatsman needs keen eyes. Now during the dry season, the many shoals can be dangerous. Bent tree roots show the force the floods develop in the rainy season. We change boats in Kratchi. Several years ago, the Cambodian government turned this section of the river into a dolphin conservation area. The fishermen had to change course to ecotourism.
Instead of fishing, I now take tourists to see dolphins. I don't earn less than I did as a fisherman. I hope more tourists come. That would be good for our community. It would create lots of new jobs.
And here they are, the Mekongs Irrawaddy dolphins. Their snoutless heads look more like those of whales than dolphins. And they don't jump. Visitors shouldn't expect them to put on a show like Flipper. They live on crustaceans, but are happy to get a morsel of fish, as our guide shows us.
Also 3 o'clock.
And fortunately for their fans, the aquatic mammals have to surface regularly to breathe.
It's incredible. There aren't many places where you can see animals like these. They're really near the boat. They're hard to photograph because they move so fast. It's a bit of a game for them. But it's a great opportunity to see them up close.
Quite a way downriver on Cambodia's border to Laos, there's a second conservation area. There are said to be 4 Irrawaddy dolphins here. River guards regularly patrol the area. The Worldwide Fund for Nature supplies them with fuel and a GPS device. The guards are delegated by the surrounding villages and fishing communities. Their job is to enforce the protection of the dolphins, especially against the illegal methods employed by some fishermen.
We're right on the border. Those bottles over there indicate a gill net. Unfortunately, on the Laotian side, so we can't seize it. These nets are very dangerous for dolphins. They get tangled up in them and die an agonizing death by asphyxiation. Some fishermen also use electric stunners and explosives, which are also lethal for dolphins.
But the dolphins now face a new and even greater threat. The might of the Mekong also awakens economic desires. Cambodia's neighbour Laos wants to build several dams and generate hydroelectric power. The bitterly poor country would like to become the battery of Southeast Asia. The Dong Sahong Dam is to be built with Malaysian assistance directly on the border. We aren't allowed to film at the dam's construction site in Laos, but this infrastructural work on the Cambodian side gives a hint of what it will look like when the machinery moves in.
I represent 600 families, more than 3,200 people in all. I'm very worried. If our neighbor Laos dams the Mekong, rotting biomass will have a serious impact on the quality of our water. The dolphins will disappear, so will the fish. In the dry season, we'll have too little water. When they open the floodgates during the rainy season, it'll be dangerous for humans and animals near the riverbank.
Conservationists are organising the protests. Many village leaders from the region are here. The 200 or so participants are staging a demonstration on the water. The protests haven't had much effect so far. Laos intends to stick to its plans to build the dam. It's not just the dolphins that are threatened, but also the fish. In Cambodia, they're a staple food and the most important source of protein. Experts fear the dam will impede the migration of many Mekong fish species. That would deprive fishermen on the Mekong of their livelihood. For generations, they've been setting out on the river at dawn to cast their nets. The Mekong is also needed on land. The clean water it provides is essential, especially during the dry season. Prun Sarot grows cabbage, pumpkins and cucumbers in her vegetable garden, and the soil is always thirsty.
We use water from the river for our fruit plantations, as drinking water for the family, to do laundry and lots more. When I think about it, for everything.
And when the temperatures rise to 40 degrees Celsius, the Mekong can be the last resort for escaping the heat. We've reached the end of our journey on the Mekong in Phnom Penh. The river is also a main artery here in the capital. Damming the river could strangulate that artery. Many fear its impact would be irreversible.
If the downtown going to be built, had a negative impact, including the quality of the water, including the density of the reach of fishery and so on, we could not address it. So and we could not recover back, the number of fish and so on where they used to live, because the habitat of dolphin has been thousand years ago.
The Mekong would be poorer without its dolphins, and their welfare mirrors the survival of the entire ecosystem.